Hello internet and welcome to PTMTR, a cooking show of sorts where I act all chefy and try to make food as lift as possible. We're kicking it all off with the most requested butter chicken from my Instagram feed, no pun intended. But I'm starting off by making my own fresh garlic and ginger paste. Now you can go ahead and use the store-bought stuff, but come on, I didn't put on an apron just to nip off to the shops. Start by using the back of your knife to skin your thumb of ginger, then peel off the skin from your garlic and take about 2 largish segments of the stuff. Crush the cloves of garlic with the flat side down of your knife and give it a quick gentle slam, crushing it slightly and allowing the skin to be released. Now just go ahead and roughly chop these up. I mean, you don't have to be all surgical about it. It is all going to be blitzer plater. I just like to use it as an opportunity to work on my knife skills, to be honest. But it will make your life a hell of a lot easier for this next step. Now just put it all into a pestle and mortar. I've got this granite one. I love it. It's a kitchen essential, I think. Amazing for spices, herbs, stuff like that. Now gently start grinding down on your garlic and ginger. Here's a quick tip. Sprinkle a pinch of these amazing Maldon sea flakes. Sea salt works too. Now the point behind this is it acts as a bit of an abrasive and just draws out most of the moisture, just helping you get down to a finer, more flavoursome paste. Now onto our protein. As for the chicken, I'd usually opt for thigh meat, but it's far too early on in the year for me to start flaking on my annual fitness goals. Don't act like you've not been there. Not like every snooker player ever chalking their cue, I just did that to look chefy. I'm just kidding, honing is important and I'll probably make a video about that later on. As for now, cut your chicken into thickish strips. Try to keep them as even as possible, just makes them cook a lot more evenly. Any thicker pieces of poultry, I like to butterfly them, just ensuring consistency, or as close as anyway. Now transfer all your chicken into a bowl and we're going to start working on our marinade. That's where I'm walking off to now. Yeah, that chicken. So start by adding about a teaspoon of red chili powder, and I like to add in a bit of ground coriander. Now in with your garlic and ginger paste, and you just want to give it a good mix. Yep, get every last bit out, why not? And lastly, go in with a healthy pinch of salt. It's just going to help marinate the chicken, let the flavours penetrate that meat a lot more. Then what you want to do is just get yourself a bit of cling film and just wrap it and set it aside for roughly 15 to 20 minutes. That's a bare minimum. The longer you keep it in, let's be fair, the better it's going to taste. Now you want to take a whole medium-sized onion. It doesn't have to be red, it can be white too. Why do they call them red? I mean, they're purple, surely. Either way, finely dice them. It's just going to help caramelize in the pan a lot quicker. Follow suit with your tomatoes. They don't have to be as fine, just so long as they have a greater surface area than they did when you first bought them. I like to add in a few cherry tomatoes. It adds an amazing sweetness. And last but not least, one whole green finger chili. And leave the seeds in. Trust me, this thing doesn't turn out as hot as Indian food pretends to be. Now grab yourself a hot pan. I like to use a saute pan because it's basically perfect for this recipe. It's like a one-pot wonder, this dish. Start putting in your chicken. Hopefully you should hear that sweet sizzling sound. Start browning the chicken down and just try not to mix it too much. Just let that beautiful fond form at the bottom of the pan. About midway through, add yourself about a tablespoon of butter if it decides to get off my knife. I mean, after all, it is butter chicken, so, well, spread will do, I guess. We just need the buttery taste, to be fair. Now, once your chicken has all browned off, transfer it into a separate bowl, keeping all the juices and fond and good stuff that stayed in the bottom of the pan. Then in the same pan, just sweep in the rest of your vegetables, allowing them to take on the beautiful flavour of the chicken that you had in there before, and just sort of break down and let all the flavours just meld into each other. Then you want to add yourself a small handful of cashew nuts, which will enrich the dish with a decadent creaminess and silkiness. It's the lift part of the dish. Then add yourself another pinch of salt, just help bring out the rest of the flavors. Now walk in confidently with a bunch of fresh flat leaf parsley. Realize you've taken too much and start bunching a few sprigs to be finely chopped. Now this is going to bring some freshness and aroma and cut through any excessive richness in the dish. Now add yourself a cup of warm water, or at least until all the ingredients are covered, and let them simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes while they develop their amazing flavor profile. Little look of what you should have. Now for the creme de la creme, or the ghee de la ghee, also known as clarified butter, just brings a level of indulgence to the dish, roughly about a tablespoon's worth. Now once that's all done and dusted, what you want to do is transfer it into a larger bowl and just set it aside for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes again. I feel like 10-15 minutes is a recurring pattern in this show here. Either way, just let it cool down. As optional as this step may be, I'm afraid I'm going to have to insist on this one. It will elevate the chickeniness of the mixture. Although I think that word may still be pending in the Oxford Dictionary. Either way, cut the stock cube in half and I want you to crumble it into this no longer dangerously hot mixture. Now, if you don't mind splashback or just haven't got around to buying a proper blender and have an immersion blender instead, like yours truly, here comes the messy part. Turn this into a fine puree of sorts. I mean, it should be tethering the line between silky and gloopy. If you need to, add a bit of boiling water to the mix, or hot water, because boiling water splashback isn't pleasant at all in any situation ever, and just give it a good thorough mix. Now grab a hold of that beautifully seasoned pan again, and here comes another chefy part. I want you to get a fine mesh strainer and just sort of mush the gloop into the strainer. What we're aiming for here is catching all the tomato pulp, skin, seeds and all the rest of it that stops the sauce from being as smooth and silky as it needs to be. Now don't forget to scrape the bottom of the sieve. It's got some of the thicker mass that's going to give a bit of body to the rest of the sauce, and all in all you should end up with a dry lump, which you can just discard at this point. Now hopefully your chicken shouldn't be stone cold at this point, so it should still retain some of its heat. Just add it back into the mixture, mix it in, let it bathe in that sauce and stick it back on the hob for a few minutes. Just let it simmer through. Lastly, here comes arguably the most important part of the process, plating. Let's be fair, for the gram, because why not showboat a bit? I mean, you cooked after all, you earned it. Sprinkle it down lightly with a bit of dried parsley, then channel your inner Jackson Pollock with a dash of cream. At long last, but definitely not least, finish it off with an annoyingly off-centered garnish of parsley and serve it up with some fresh naan bread. Now, this was genuinely so good, I had to leave in my genuine reaction.
Got him!